Hey, what's up? lightboltjoe here. Today we are going to discuss the 1993 action-adventure thriller film Demolition Man. This stars Benjamin Bratt, Sandra Bullock, you got Wesley Snipes, you got, oh my god, I'm forgetting his name, Sylvester Stallone, a bunch of other people are in this. Rob Schneider is in this very briefly. But this is cool. This takes place in the year 2034. We just talked about how awesome Demolition Man is when we talked about Total Recall. So I feel like you gotta watch them together, but Demolition Man, as far as I'm concerned, is a part of the Mean Girls franchise. Not Mean Girls, Miss Congeniality. Because you got Sandra Bullock and Benjamin Bratt as co-workers and love interests in Miss Congeniality. They're co-workers in this film. And then, technically, Benjamin's not in the second Miss Congeniality, but we'll say for argument's sake, the trilogy of Miss Congeniality starts with Demolition Man in 1993. Okay, now, this is pretty cool. So, you got Sylvester Stallone and Wesley Snipes. They're arch nemesis, right? You know, Phoenix is the name of Wesley Snipes' character. And Sylvester Stallone's character is just referenced. I mean, his name is John Spartan, but he's referenced as the Demolition Man because he just destroys everything upon trying to save people or whatever. So he and Wesley Snipes are fighting 1996 Los Angeles. There is a building that explodes because of Phoenix. And John Spartan didn't wind up saving the 30 hostages who wound up dying in the building destruction. So they were both sentenced to a cryo prison in 96, but they would have parole in like the year 2046, something like that. But while this is happening, time jumps to 2032. In 2010, though, there was a massive earthquake in Southern California, which kind of like rerouted like districts. So Los Angeles, most of Southern California is now like called San Angeles, not Los Angeles or San Diego, it's San Angeles. So the police department of San Angeles have created, well, the leaders of this new world have created this different utopia, basically. You can't curse, you can't drink, you can't eat meat, none of the bad stuff for you, right? If you're going to have sex or kiss someone, you can't. It has to be, you know, VR helmet-wise. No exchanging of bodily fluids unless it's within a laboratory setting. And you have to be licensed to procreate. Very smart. So the leader of that particular utopia, if you will, because of course there's an underground that is starving, that people are trying to, you know, break out and feed themselves. This leader codes Wesley Snipes' character, Phoenix, you know, into terrorism, computer coding, martial arts, a bunch of different, you know, villain stuff. In order to kill the leader of the underground revolutionists. So John Spartan is then taken out of his cryo sleep, doesn't know how to wipe his own ass with 3 seashells. There's a meme constantly because there's no more toilet paper. Sandra Bullock is a lieutenant who is taking John Spartan under her wing, basically. And they're trying to figure out what Phoenix's motive is, why he's being controlled by this other guy, how to stop everything. And then eventually there's a massive brawl between the two of them. With some liquid nitrogen, and Wesley Snipes' head gets kicked off by Sylvester Stallone, and then it just explodes. So cool because it's like practical effects. It's not CGI. I'm a sucker for practical effects. I know we talked about this numerous times. 70s, 80s, and 90s films, when it comes to practical effects, incredible. Incredible. And then the aughts, the 10s, and then now the 20s are primarily known for CGI. I get it. Times are different, but there's a sense of grit. There's a sense of authenticity when there's an actual puppet or prop in front of you, as opposed to pretending when someone's holding a tennis ball on top of a very long pole for eye line, you have an actual figure, an actual prop in front of you. Really cool. I'm a sucker for that. Screen use props are obviously a big thing, you know, in the world of collecting as well. So this film is just really cool. I love that, you know, Taco Bell wins the franchise war, and like, you know, they're the only fast food restaurant in the year 2032. It's like an upscale restaurant. You have to dress up. You know, self-driving cars, all the fun future stuff. It's just a fun movie. I love watching this movie, and for the longest time I could never remember this movie. I always remember the scene in the museum that they break the floor and then there's parts of LA underneath it that were still survived from the earthquake, that they built a museum on top of it. But I could never, ever remember the name Demolition Man unless I was talking to somebody else, and then they would bring it up that it was Demolition Man. So, Demolition Man, awesome film. Go check it out. Mucho mahalo.